Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Friday, July 18th, 2025. Now, if you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Put your baseball picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily rundown best bet in Major League Baseball, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Friday, Major League Baseball. First up, we've got the Boston Red Sox taking on the Chicago Cubs in an afternoon game at Wrigley. It's going to be Colin Ray and Lucas Giolito as the starters. Now, I've always said through the years of the rundown, this is the toughest video to make every season because it's the first day back from the All-Star break. There is a lot of information missing when it comes to starting pitching. The managers are still deciding what they'd like to do for their strategy in the second half of the season. So while there are probable starters listed for every team right now, these are very much subject to change, going into Friday morning, Friday afternoon. So I'm going to put a pinned comment in the comment section updating any pitching changes that we see overnight. But I suggest just keep checking for updated information. Make sure you know who's actually pitching in these games because it is going to dictate the line and, of course, sometimes the pick. But for me, in this game, I do think it's going to be Giolito and Ray. And I think that Giolito is really tough to go against right now. The Red Sox have won 4 of his last 5 games. He's given up 2 runs or fewer in 5 straight games. His strikeout numbers have been excellent. And while the Cubs have crushed right in at pitching this season, the Red Sox are right there in the top 10 in team OPS against righties in the last 30 days. So for me, the value lies with the Red Sox at plus money in this type of game. I'm going to roll Boston on the money line. Next are the Chicago White Sox taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. We've got Jonathan Cannon and Bailey Falter as the starters. Now, we've mentioned that this season the White Sox have been more competitive offensively against lefties than righties, but even in the last 30 days, Chicago has not been that great against lefties. I think that Bailey Falter puts together a decent outing. I think he gets the run support. It's not always the case for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Their offense has been struggling for the most part in 2025, but I don't really love what I'm seeing from Jonathan Cannon as of late. His expected numbers aren't good either. I'm going to roll the Pittsburgh Pirates in this one on the money line at PNC Park. Next up, we've got the Angels and the Phillies. We've got Jesus Luzardo and Jose Soriano listed as the projected starters. I think this is a decent spot to take a shot with the underdog. The Angels have been very solid against left-handed pitching in the last month. Top 15 in team OPS, but top 5 in isolated power. Strikeout rate is pretty steep. I could see Luzardo certainly missing some bats in this game, but I could also see the Angels finding some extra base hits. Jose Soriano's not been great at Angel Stadium recently, but he's been fine on the road. I'm going to take the plus money here with the Angels on the money line on the road. Next up, the San Diego Padres taking on the Washington Nationals. We got Dylan Cease for San Diego. Looks like Jake Irvin should be going for Washington. Now, we've taken the Nationals in the underdog role many times this season, but this is not one of those situations that I think Washington is the play. I like San Diego. Dylan Cease, a disaster first half of the season. He's expected to be the ace-level stopper in this rotation. Went 3-9 with a 4.88 ERA, but his expected numbers are good. I think he does improve in the second half of the season, much better numbers in the second half, and I think he pitches pretty well in this game. I don't love this Padres offense, but I do think it's a very strong bullpen, and I don't really love Jake Irvin on the other side. I think San Diego can do some damage against them, enough to win this game. So give me the Padres on the money line. Next up, the San Francisco Giants taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Looks like Justin Verlander and Chris Bassett are the starters. Again, this could change, so make sure you're looking for updated information. But in this matchup, if this is the pitching matchup, I think the Blue Jays do take it. I also think it's going to be a pretty good series for Toronto. This is a team that we know had one of the best months of June to July in Major League Baseball. They're one of the hottest teams in baseball going into the second half of the season. Now 14 games above 500 in first place in the American League East. Chris Bassett, maybe not the best start to his season with an ERA above 4, but he's been a winning machine. The Blue Jays have a really strong lineup behind him. Their bullpen's improved. I don't trust this Giants lineup right now. I especially don't trust Justin Verlander, who has been the opposite of Chris Bassett. He's been, the Giants have lost a lot of his games recently. He's 0-7 on the season. I got to roll with Toronto in this one on the money line. Next up, we've got the Cincinnati Reds taking on the New York Mets. We got Nick Lodolo for Cincinnati. Looks like Clay Holmes should be going for the Mets as well. The Mets have not been great against lefties in the last 30 days. Before the All-Star break, they were struggling quite a bit. And Nick Lodolo, while he's been a little bit inconsistent at times, still on the season, he's got good numbers. I mean, 3.38 ERA. He's got a 2.56 ERA on the road this season. The Reds have won 4 of his last 5 games. He's given up 3 runs or fewer in all 5 of those starts. I think he pitches pretty well in this game. As long as he can keep the ball on the ground, he has given up a good amount of home runs recently, and the Mets started to show some power in the last couple of series before the All-Star break. So I'm going to lean towards Cincinnati in this game. I think this is their best chance to win a game in this series, so give me Cincinnati. Next up, the Athletics and the Guardians. We've got Slade Cecconi for Cleveland. Looks like Luis Severino should be going for the Athletics. Now, Cecconi really pitched well down the stretch in the first half of the season. He's given up 3 runs or fewer in 5 straight games. His strikeout numbers have been there. The Guardians have won 3 of his last 5, including 1 game against these Athletics, and that was one of his best starts of the season. 7 innings of shutout baseball in a 3-0 Guardians win. I honestly could see a similar scoreline. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. Severino's been a lot better on the road this season, but I still think Cleveland can find a few runs off him, and that bullpen has been shut down for the most part in the last few years. I know the beginning of the season wasn't the best, not the Guardians bullpen that we're used to seeing, but I think it has a much better second half, and I think the Guardians win this game. Give me Cleveland. Next up, we've got the Yankees and the Braves. We've got Max Fried and Spencer Strider as the starters. Now we know when this team is healthy, the Atlanta Braves have enough talent to be a playoff team in Major League Baseball, but I think they're in too much of a hole right now, especially now in 4th place in the National League East and well out of it in the wild card race. It'd be one thing, and this is a team that had a miserable start to the year, which they did, but started to play great baseball at the end of the first half. But while they did win the series in St. Louis, the previous 4 series before that one, were all losses to the A's, the Orioles, the Angels, and the Phillies, and then they split the series with the Mets. So they really weren't playing great baseball at all. They had a couple of losing streaks, extended losing streaks in that stretch as well. And now you're up against the Yankees. Max Fried, who's been one of the best pitchers in baseball, pitching against his former team in Truist Park now. I think he has a great outing. The Braves have not been great against left-handed pitching in the last month. Strider, while he's got a lot of talent, it's a tough matchup here. I mean, the Yankees, they had their struggles, at times at the end of June going into July, but this is still one of the best offenses in baseball. They pretty much turned it around before the All-Star break. I think they get the Strider. I think they win this game. Give me the Yankees. Next up, we've got the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Baltimore Orioles. We've got Taj Bradley and Charlie Morton as the starters. Now, the Rays were in such a great spot. It looked like they were going to be in a great spot going into the All-Star break. And then they went on a pretty extended slump where they lost a series to the Minnesota Twins, lost to the Detroit Tigers, and then lost a 4-game series, got swept by the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park right before the break. Those are some tough teams, but nonetheless, if you want to be in the playoff picture, come September, you got to be able to pick up some of those wins, especially on the road, and that wasn't the case. Now, the Rays do return to Steinbrenner Field, where they are above 500 this season, but this is an Orioles team that's been playing better baseball. You got Charlie Morton on the other side, who's been pitching so well for Baltimore as of late. In the last 5 games, the Orioles are 4-1 in his 5 starts. He's given up just 1 home run combined. Including his start against these Rays, his former team, 6 innings of 1 run, 7 strikeout baseball, and a 4-1 Orioles win. Right now, I've got to roll Baltimore in this one on the money line. I think they make a playoff push. I'm not sure it's going to be able to. I mean, they're right now in a pretty big hole in the American League wildcard race, but I think they have the talent to make a run, and it's going to take wins like this, so give me Baltimore on the money line. Next up, it's the Tigers and the Rangers. We've got Reese Olson and Patrick Corbin as the starters. Now, I've mentioned many times, I don't think that this Tigers team is the best team in baseball, despite what their record may suggest. I do think they struggle a bit in the second half of the year, even if that's just playing 500 baseball instead of 20 games above 500 baseball like we saw in the first half. But if that is the case, they're not going to be a profitable team because Detroit is being priced like they are one of the best teams in baseball, like we see in this game as their favorites on the road. I know Reese Olson is considered the much better starting pitcher in this game. He very well could be, but he really didn't pitch that well in his last start against the Rays. Only went 5 innings, just 1 strikeout, 2 runs, 6 base hits. It wasn't a miserable outing, but still ended up being a Tigers loss 7-3. I think he struggles in this one. I think the Rangers can get to Olson. This was a Rangers offense that really started to get going towards the end of the first half. Patrick Corbin's been better than expected. Maybe not as of late. His ERA is now above 4 in the season, but he's still pitching competitively. The Rangers have won his last 2 starts. The Tigers have been solid against lefties, but I think Corbin can put together a good outing, enough for the Rangers to pick up the win. At a really good price, I'm going to take the Rangers on the money line. Next up, we've got the Twins and the Rockies. We've got Kyle Freeland and Chris Paddock as the starters. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game and a high-scoring series. I think the Twins, this is a super important series, obviously, for Minnesota, having to pick up wins against the worst team in baseball. I think they do in this first game at the very least. Chris Paddock does scare me a little bit. I don't love this matchup for him, but the Twins against Kyle Freeland, Minnesota's been crushing lefties, good isolated power and team OPS numbers, low strikeout rate, high walk rate. This just looks like a great matchup for Minnesota offensively, but the Rockies should be able to do some damage against Paddock. If this is a back and forth game early on, the biggest advantage that the Twins have in this series is their bullpen. I think they still have the best bullpen in baseball, going up against one of the weakest bullpens in baseball. So give me the Twins in this one. I could see a 9-6, kind of final score, a high scoring game. Twins win it. They cover the run line. That's what I'm leaning. Next up, we've got the St. Louis Cardinals and the Arizona Diamondbacks. It looks like Sonny Gray and Merrill Kelly are the projected starters. Sonny Gray's not been great on the road this season. Arizona is a really tough lineup against right-handed pitching. I think Merrill Kelly's a good enough option in this game. The question is, can the bullpen hold up? But I really don't think St. Louis's bullpen is that much better than the Diamondbacks. So for that reason, I'm going to roll with the Diamondbacks in this game on the money line. Next up, we've got the Houston Astros taking on the Seattle Mariners. We've got Framber Valdez and Luis Castillo as the starters. Now, Framber Valdez may not be the best starting pitcher in Major League Baseball in the last 5 years, but I think he's got to be one of, if not the most consistent starting pitchers. He's just been a quality start machine over the years. His last 5 games before the end of the first half, 4 of his 5 were quality starts. All 5 of those were victories for the Houston Astros. Good strikeout numbers, does a great job at keeping the ball on the ground. And because he's more of a pitch-to-contact guy, but he had 10 strikeouts his last game, it's hard to keep saying that. But since he is more of a ground ball specialist, he is really efficient on the mound. He's able to go deeper into ball games, 6, 7+ innings, and that's just really valuable for a team. I know he's been better at home this season, but at a pitcher-friendly ballpark like T-Mobile, I still expect Framber to pitch well. The Mariners have seen a lot of Framber Valdez over the years, so I don't think it's going to be a perfect outing. I think Framber gives up a couple of runs, but I think the Astros back him up. This is a really tough Astros lineup. They've really improved on the road after a miserable start to the season. Now they're above 500 on the road. I worry about Castillo's regression concerns. I'm going to roll with the Astros in this one on the money line. And the final game we're going to talk about for the Friday card in Major League Baseball, it's the Brewers and the Dodgers. Looks like Jose Quintana and Tyler Glasnow are the projected starters. It's going to be an interesting series here. The Dodgers are certainly looking for revenge after being swept by these Brewers before the All-Star break in Milwaukee. The Dodgers were on a pretty extended losing streak, I believe a 7-game losing streak, before finally winning the final 2 games of their series in San Francisco. I think they can carry over that momentum with those 2 victories into this very first game. I think that the second time around now facing Quintana, it's probably not a great spot for Jose Quintana. The Dodgers have been solid against lefties. I think they can get to him for a few runs early. I think Glasnow has a better performance in this one as well. I'm going to take the Dodgers on the run line at Dodger Stadium. Next up, the Kansas City Royals taking on the Miami Marlins. Looks like Seth Lugo and Sandy Alcantara are the listed starters for this one. Now, Sandy really struggled down the stretch in the first half of the season. We know for the most part it was not a good first half, but he put together some decent outings before those last 3 games where he just got crushed. 2 of those games are on the road. All 3 of those were against pretty tough matchups, pretty tough teams. I think he can bounce back, and especially in his first start, he gets the extended break from the All-Star break. Pitching at Lone Depot against the Royals team, it's not been great against right-handed pitching this season. Seth Lugo, I've mentioned the regression concerns, the expected numbers and underlying numbers aren't necessarily the best. We saw him give up 2 absolute bombs in his last start against the Pittsburgh Pirates. One of those, I think, a 460-foot home run to O'Neal Cruz. I think the Marlins, who have been such a great underdog this season, find a way to win this game. I'm going to roll with Miami on the money line at Lone Depot. And that's it. Those are the games for Friday in baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium, and there is a link in the description. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.